Measuring impact in social science generally is very, very difficult. It's much more difficult than in a lot of other disciplines. Um, but what we did for the submission on social work and social policy was to look at the kind of impact that at least three pieces of work made, focusing specifically on two that we used for case studies. The general way we tried to pick up impact here was impact on practitioners or policymakers generally. Some of my own work has been discussed on radio, television, the press. Our two case studies were really rather different, focusing on very different aspects of the way impact was carried out. One of them, the social work research that was fronted by Professor Michael Lavalette, focused very much, the case study there focused very much on affecting practitioners, working with practitioners, trying to make practitioners more socially active, social work practitioners more socially active, talking to them, working with them on a day-to-day basis as opposed to working with academics. So in a sense, that case study was very much focusing on work at the coalface. The second case study, which is based on the work of Professor Roger Brown, was based around his work on quality assurance arrangements in higher education, which he'd been thinking and writing about for some time, because these new arrangements were going to be affected by the increasing marketisation of higher education in England and Wales. And Professor Brown's work, it was pitched at a much higher audience than Professor Lavalette's. So his work was being used by House of Commons committees, by HEFCE, the Higher Education Funding Council for England, who were taking on board his ideas and were using it to debate and discuss the issues that were around. So his case study was focused at very high levels of policy, whereas Professor Lavalette's was focused at a rather lower level of practice, basic social work practitioners. But both case studies obviously are having a wide impact outside academic practitioners themselves. Clearly, they are both cited and used by academics, but impact here is non-academic impact, and the way it's impacted has been on practice and policy.